Hello, welcome to Furious Driving, and in this episode I'm going to do a 3-point turn in a field. Oh, and by the way, the Rover works again, which is good news.
Proud to be sponsored by Diamond Bright, the car care products that have been keeping the Furious fleet looking their best for a long time already. To find all you need to keep your car clean and protected, follow the link below to diamondbright.co.uk.
Hello, welcome to Furious Driving, and today we're back in the lock-up garage with the Rover 2000. I've got myself my Furious Driving t-shirt, I've got myself a big bag full of spanners, and I've got myself a Furious Driving mug of coffee. So we're going to try and subvert the Furious Driving mantra of broken Rovers and shattered dreams, and maybe have a functioning Rover, because as you may remember, last time we saw this car, we had it running, it was starting and driving really happily, however, couldn't steer it. So what I've been doing over the last couple of days, I have been in and I have given a good old squirt of Bulldog BDX to this here, which is the top of the steering box. What you need to do is undo this big adjusty knob thing here, and underneath that apparently there's a flathead screw we can loosen off and hopefully free off our steering. Then we can drive this car out the garage. Let's have a go. Right, so we've got a socket on an extension bar just long enough to get that above that. Let's see if we can crack. Oh, it's a lot looser than I expected it to be. Let's get a ratchet instead. Okay, right, oh, there we have our big flat point sockety thing. Just try and find somewhere sensible for that. So now I'm free in here, I'll squiggle in yet more Bulldog. Now, I've used this stuff a lot. I'm not sponsored by the brand, but I do absolutely love it. I rate it so highly, and I use it on every job now, and I still use my heat extraction tool quite a lot. But frozen bolts, this is now my go-to. I mean, forget WD-40 and all that kind of stuff. It is just filth compared to that. Where's the big screwdriver gone? Now, can I do this one-handed? Cracky, that's stiff. Do you want to loosen off that? Is that a lock nut? Let's try that now. Ah, there we go. That turns now. That's surprisingly easy. Okay. That's all the way off. Okay, let's see what happens now. Right, okay. That is still stiff, but a lot less stiff, and the car is static right now. Let's fire up. Let's try and move backwards and see if this does steer any lighter. A little. Actually, yeah, it is a little lighter. Let's go forward again. Right, let's take this outside the garage and see what the difference is like. Yeah, I can steer. I can actually steer the thing. Oh, can I go other way? Yes, I can. Way better. It's heavy, but I'm at parking speed, so. That's really good. Excellent. Do you know what? I think I might have a quick walk around the car and risk giving it a very short drive just to check. Oh. Inopportune moment for it to actually stall, and we're finally across the road. Now, I will remind you, this car is MOT and tax exempt, so I could literally just drive onto the street and just go for it right now, but I'm not going to. I'm going to take it the short distance home, and then I'm going to go and check the tyre pressures. I'm going to check the oil. I'll change the oil actually, rather than check it. Let's not be silly here. And then take it for a little drive. Might wipe the windscreen as well. but the tyres feel insanely low, like really squish driving. 16 here at the back, and the other front one was 10, so yeah, I wonder if I felt a bit squishy coming around the corner. But the great thing about cars like this is the ride height is such you don't need to jack it up to either undo the sump plug or even to slide a great big catch pan underneath it. Ouch. Super handy. I wonder how much will come out. I want to say another huge thank you to the viewer who sent this in after I was struggling with some really dodgy oil catch cans a little while ago. There we go, some thick old goop coming out of there. Right, ready for some fresh stuff. Right, so whack the oil filter on and then we are good to go with some fresh oil in there. So while that's all draining down, I've actually taken this back a couple of turns. So I don't want it to be on the fullest extent of its adjustment. So I've turned it back a few turns just to give us a bit more future adjustment possibly, and also just to see if it makes a bit of difference. This car does have a really handy panel down here, great sticker, which I'm going to replace with the new one I've got once I've repainted these inner wings at some point. It tells you all about what capacities and what quantities and type. You need 8 imperial pints, which is 4.5 litres of oil, and in the meantime I had been down and got some of the Halford's Classic stuff, which has got the extra zinc in it, which is good for classic cars. Right then, let's dollop in 4.5 litres of the good stuff. So look up. If you can still see or hear anything, yeah, the bonnet is quite dusty and the sucker is not working too well on it. Right, everything looks good. The water is still as high as it ever sits. It always sits about 6 to 8 centimetres low in the radiator. I've not changed it for actual proper coolant yet because I'm going to do a full old drain and flush at some point. I'm still in there making sure it's all okay. So how it phase? Well, on the road, so far all feels good. Everything checks out, brakes are good, engine is running smooth as it should do. One slight issue, I just stopped a second ago to check something and now my seatbelt won't unlock, so I've not got a seatbelt, so I'm heading back home again now to go and sort that out. I can smell burning all of a sudden actually. I'm going to quickly stop and have a look at that. Can't see anything of issue. I think it might just be oil and stuff burning off. Well, if anything, I would say the steering is now too loose. I'm going to have to tighten up a couple of turns more, I would say, just to tighten up the handling a touch. It's just a little bit wishy-washy, so it should be somewhere in between where we had. Because the reason it got parked up in the first place was it tightened up really badly just turning right, I think it was. And yeah, then obviously while it's laid up, it just tightened completely. The Bulldog's done a great job of soaking through the mechanism and getting everything nice and slackened off, which is brilliant. Oh, it's so nice to be back behind the wheel of this car. I might lose the roof rack. I think it's a bit chunky for this car. It needs to be a slightly lower profile one actually. I can hear it whistling in the wind as well. What I'll do next though, I think I might find a classic friendly garage. I won't take it for an MOT because it doesn't need an MOT, but I will put it through like a proper safety inspection kind of a deal, so that I know in my own mind and everyone else's that the car is safe. Which, because you know, you do an MOT once a year and there's all kinds of little things pop up that you weren't aware of, and I don't want to be taken off the road for something that's kind of semi-irrelevant on a very low mileage, very old car. But at the same time, I don't want to not be aware of some failing major component that's out of sight and out of mind. But at the moment, it all feels good. The clutch pedal has got about half of the travel it should have, so I think maybe I might need a new slave or to bleed it at the very least. Because I don't want to be getting stuck with no clutch. I've had that before in this car a long time ago. Not much fun. Oh, this car is so nice to be in. It's such like a delicate feeling to everything. The controls, oh, it's just so in tune. Haha, amazing turning circle too. I'll tell you what, that fix was so easy. If I'd known it was going to be that simple, I would have happily rolled it into the last video when I rolled it out the garage for the first time, because that was just an absolute doddle. It was just literally 5 minutes of work and we're away. Obviously, changing the oil and pumping the tyres took a few minutes longer. I will of course mention, as always, all the tools you see used on this channel are available in the affiliate link in the description below. I'm using a lot of Draper stuff, which is all good quality and lasts me well. Oh, such a good car. So happy to be in this thing again. Right, coming up for this car, I've got that rear door shell which needs to be painted, and then the tinted glass put in and fitted. I've got a better front wing because that one's got a hole in it. It needs to be painted the correct shade of white because the one it is not correct shade of white, and that fitted. The rear wing on the left side also got a couple of rust bubbles just starting, same as the Crown Vic actually. Just need to get those things looked at and sorted out. Yeah, then we're basically more or less good to go. So inspection, a couple of bits of bodywork. Oh, actually, but there's a bit of box section behind the headlamp bowls which has got some iffy corrosion in it. I don't think it's not structural at all, but it's a really awkward place to get to. I'm not quite sure how we're going to deal with that one. Some clever welding is going to be needed for that. And the cutting's going to be harder than the welding. And of course, fixing this seatbelt, which I don't know what the hell's gone wrong with that. How do you fix a seatbelt? Oh, I'm having fun now. I've got to go and do a shoot to shoot someone else's car, and I'm looking forward to driving that car, but I don't want to stop driving this one. This is the first time I've ever driven one of my own cars, which is MOT exempt, and it feels like I'm breaking the law in so many ways. I know it's all fine, but it just feels really odd. But I have said a few times recently and in the past, I've got to get more cars that are MOT exempt and tax exempt, because frankly, it's crippling me trying to pay for all of these things and keep them on the road. Actually, I don't mind paying for the safety inspection, that's peace of mind. I do resent paying road tax, like a couple £100 a year per car, if it was all year, for a car that only does a few hundred miles, in some cases. Well, that's fantastic news. The car is done, it's running, and it was easier than I possibly imagined. New oil and filter in there, running good. Just need to look at that clutch, the seat belt, not a lot else really. Great running car, once again, good old P6. So thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this, then please do hit like and subscribe. I can get fresh coffee, and I'll see you again next time. I don't know what we're doing actually, fixing something else probably. See you later, take care, goodbye.